Meadows Park is 26.44 acres and was built in 2006. It is used for small children recreation, specifically with a playground, soccer field, and Little League baseball. 5 soil tests were taken from different sections of the park. These sections were divided and analyzed separately based on their irrigation schedules, use, and management issues. Out of the 5 areas examined, Area 3 on the east side of the soccer field and Area 5 along the walking path are both non-irrigated. These 2 spaces are reserved for a more natural park experience and will remain minimally managed. Therefore, they will not be considered in our recommendations. Areas 1, 2, and 4 shown here include the soccer field, baseball field, and playground area. These will be the areas of our focus. The soil throughout the park is a medium silt loam. The soil pH varies between 7.4 and 7.5, which is typical for Minnesota. Our chart here is our small recommendations we would make for each area. There are currently 5 management issues in Meadows Park: a large creeping bentgrass invasion, turf areas with poor water infiltration, shallow grass roots, a broadleaf weed encroachment, scalped areas around trees, along with bare soil areas. The largest management issue for Meadows Park is the creeping bentgrass invasion. This is occurring in the baseball and soccer fields. This grass is particularly tolerant of flooding, which is why it is thriving in the water-soaked turf areas. Creeping bentgrass is an acceptable turf under the right conditions, but is considered a weed in this instance. If not addressed, it will take over. We suggest using the selective herbicide mesotrione, also known as tenacity, to remove it among the Kentucky bluegrass stand. After doing so, new seed would need to be established and a higher mowing height of 3 inches should be practiced. In establishing new seed, we would recommend a mix of 50% Kentucky bluegrass, 20% fine fescue, 15% tall fescue, and 15% perennial ryegrass. This mixture would include a blend of cultivars listed here. These were chosen based on their superior performance in Minnesota and are based on the latest National Turfgrass Evaluation Program ratings. The next step is to address the wet turf conditions that are creating the environment that the creeping bentgrass is thriving in. Currently, the infested area is irrigated 1 to 2 times per week for varying durations. The water-soaked spectator area on the north side of the baseball diamond is included in this schedule. We suggest eliminating the irrigation in the spectator area 1 and decreasing the irrigation in the field area 2. In area 2, it should be irrigated long and heavy 1 time per week, so that 1 inch of water is throughout. The slope of this area would effectively irrigate area 1. The irrigation can be adjusted in late summer months if necessary. Altering the irrigation schedule will also help with the shallow grass roots found throughout Meadows Park. Shallow grass roots create compacted soil and also contribute to the poor water infiltration. To alleviate this issue, we would suggest maintaining an aeration schedule of 1 time per year in the fall, and if budget allows, this should be increased to 2 times per year. We would also recommend overseeding with our grass mixture mentioned earlier. Overseeding should be completed with each aeration as part of good cultural practices. This will create a thick turf stand while also combating weeds. These broadleaf weeds are currently found throughout Meadows Park. We suggest eliminating the current synthetic herbicide use. In place of that, we would recommend a corn gluten regimen. Corn gluten meal is an organic pre-emergent weed control. It should be applied in the early spring to combat summer annuals and in the late summer for fall weeds. Corn gluten takes about 3 years to achieve its best success. Therefore, spot spraying in the fall can be completed if necessary. As these pictures demonstrate, many of the trees throughout Meadows Park are experiencing scalping. Aeration, overseeding, and a revised irrigation schedule will help with this issue. We would also recommend changing the mowing practices, specifically decrease the mowing around the tree areas and changing the mowing pattern. Elimination of the circular mowing around the trees is necessary. Straight mowing should be practiced throughout. This slide shows a recommendation for a new maintenance schedule. Depending on the time of season and your annual budget, each application can be taken into consideration. As our next few slides will show, it will break down the cost of each application for you. We broke out the cost including labor and materials for each area discussed. This includes the spectator area 1, field area 2, and playground area 4. Consideration should be made for all recommendation areas, yet this is broken out to allow for budget concerns. Other landscaping opportunities are also important to consider. This is a site plan for our ideas. We would recommend adding native prairie grass to Area 1. The amount of native grasses installed will be based upon budget. Here is a list of our native grass mixtures that we'd recommend using on site along with their square footage pricings. The square footage of the native prairie grass area could be added to each year. We would also recommend adding walking paths throughout the native prairie areas to connect with the public. These paths would be 52 inches wide to accommodate a standard commercial mower width. In the wettest part of Area 1, we would recommend installing a low-maintenance rain garden. This would utilize the excess water and reduce stormwater runoff. Rain gardens can be maintained with little effort after the plants are established. If the City of Rosemont provides the labor and purchases the plants, a rain garden will cost approximately $3 to $5 per square foot. We would suggest these plants in the rain garden. These are low-maintenance options to consider time and budget for park managers.